Coby Baker, CEO of Alderis Mortgage. I'm here with Michael Rodriguez, one of our senior mortgage advisors. Second video in our series. Main purpose of the videos is to kind of give you an inside glimpse of how we do things at Alderis, show you from the inside out, show you from a loan officer's perspective. So today what we want to talk about, we'll kind of piggyback a little bit off of our conversation on the first video, and that is, I want to talk a little bit about the way the environment here has changed the way that you do business. So if you could maybe speak into a little bit how the open environment has affected your ability to basically be more productive, put in more loans in such a short period of time.
Absolutely. It's actually worked out in two ways. One, from a sales perspective, just being in an open environment, it really has given me an opportunity to learn from the other loan officers around me and just really get over some of that fear of failure. You know, because you start to hear people practicing day in and day out, trying different scripts, different ways to approach clients, referral partners, and as you start to gain some of that insight, it's amazing to see how quickly I can start to adjust my business, and instead of me maybe doing something for a month or two and not getting the result, now I can look at things on a week-over-week basis, take that feedback, and really start to apply it to my practice. The second piece really has to do with the back-end system, so with our fulfillment, with our underwriting and our processing, having a 9 a.m. and a 4 p.m. Pipeline review really doesn't give anybody a place to hide. So I know where my files are twice a day. So as we work through that process, we are always ahead of schedule and ahead of any potential issues because that communication is so key. It has been an absolute game changer for me to handle the increase in my pipeline and to still be able to maintain my daily disciplines that are going to be required for me to keep that sales pipeline full.
Sure. Well, obviously one of the purposes of the open environment is to create transparency. That way nobody in the process has anywhere to go and sort of hide behind anything, good, bad, or indifferent, which it can be any of those things. One thing though that I want to speak into a little bit is how that open environment has allowed you to move through problems quicker. And I say problems, I use it, you know,
we're doing loans.
There's going to be problems. But how it's allowed you to move through those things, have a platform to talk about what it is that needs to happen in order for things to be more fluid, to move better, to move faster, but allow you to go back to those green activities. For those of you who don't know, the green activities are making the phone calls to the past clients, to the realtors, meetings, things like that. Being able to move into those green activities at a much faster pace than before, where you might get mired in an issue and have to solve that problem instead of just moving on, venting, getting and knowing that the team is going to pick that up, take it, handle it, and then safety net it going from there, allowing you to go right back to those calls, right back to the meetings.
No, I can give you a real life example for today. We had 2 files spun today that were both 2-week closes. And I can tell you, typically when you get into a situation where you've got a short escrow, you basically are signing up for babysitting duty for the next 2 weeks because you've got to make sure every element of that file hits on time because there's no margin for error. And I can tell you, you can look at my own record over the last 2 weeks and being able to stay focused, because as soon as something popped up on a file where, hey, we were missing a bank statement, it wasn't an email from the processor and then me having to check back with my email. It's Sean coming over to me saying, hey, we need to get this information in right away so we can ensure we can get the file cleared to close and CD out tomorrow. On the other file, we were trying to get the settlement statement from the other lender because it was a contingent, or the title company, because it was a contingent sale. And same thing, it's just like, hey, we need to get this information because we're ready to draw docs. We want to make sure we don't have any prior to funding conditions. So just that open communication cuts off all of that extra time that I would typically be required to invest in a short escrow period that would completely derail my next month because I'm babysitting and I look like a hero for those 2 files, but you sacrifice your upcoming pipeline. And I can tell you, after these last 2 weeks with these quick closes, we've been able to still generate new leads and new loans because I was able to stay focused.
New leads and new loans that you wouldn't normally be able to generate
absolutely.
Because you would be focused on
100%.
Actually babysitting that file and getting it through, which is the big deal of having trust in the people that are around you. One of the big things that you hear me talk about a lot is accountability in the team.
Absolutely.
And the team actually being very good at what they do, allowing everybody to function in their zone, their zone of genius really, and do what they need to do. So thank you for sharing that. I mean, obviously what we want to give is that insight as to what actually makes things different. I know that you have seen after 2 months or a month and a half of really integrating into the system, you've seen really, really great success And this is kind of a spur of the moment question, but can you tell me what you attribute that to, the biggest thing that you attribute that to in seeing such an increase in volume when some people have volumes down, hard time getting loans or offers accepted, have a hard time getting that momentum? You've gone the other way, and it completely, you along with a couple of our other seniors,
Absolutely.
completely exploded in the way of almost doubling leads and maybe a third more loans. What would you attribute that to?
Just to give some context, I don't even know if you know this, but we ended up generating 103 leads in the first quarter. And all of last year we were at 225 for the year. So for us to be able to have a quarter's worth of lead volume be almost half of what it was last year, I can absolutely tell you what that has really been a benefit to me is being in the open environment and having that accountability. And every day when I see the staff and fulfillment working through my loans, it keeps me focused on staying on the phone, because I know at that same 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. pipeline report, when I get asked what new loans are coming in, I better have a good answer.
Right.
And that has helped me to stay so focused and keyed into those dollar productive activities, those green activities you were talking about before. Because at the end of the day, if I can stay focused on a handful of activities, I know I can generate the results. I know that, but having an environment that supports me and keeps me focused in those activities is the difference between me at the end of the first quarter 2018 versus me at any other point in my career.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for sharing, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions or would like to set up an appointment to speak to either myself or our outreach manager, Dan, please give us a call. His information is at the end of this, www.alderis.net, 702-255-5783. Look forward to seeing you again. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.